Welcome. I'm Jim Rhodes with the Octane Group, and I promised in an earlier video that I would take folks for a tour of how to do irregular payment streaming. Now, if you missed that video, you'll want to find that. It's a little short 9-minute video that talks about the benefits of payment or irregular payments, sometimes called special payment streams, the benefit of using that to shorten term at this time when cost of cars are so high. So as you can see on the screen there, I've got IDMS loaded. I'm told that I was aware that AMS already is another provider, AutoMasters, and that AFS or Auto Finance Solutions is, I believe, what they're known by. And then I was told that Wayne Reeves also accommodates this kind of payment scheduling. Just remember that you would also need the right kind of contract in order to accommodate the number of spaces that I'm going to show you. But as we go through IDMS here, I want to just kind of lay it out in the way that we recommend to clients that they use this solution. And you have to have IDMS set up. I believe they have to create settings or open it up for you to have multiple payment stream options. And then again, you would need the right contract. So now what you're seeing on the screen is I've got today's date loaded, February 17th. I've chosen a $15,000 price. I'm letting the interest rate default to this 18.8. And I'm showing you on the screen, you might want to capture this number. Currently, if I chose a payment of $450 monthly starting at the beginning of March, I've got March 3rd in there, then this pays off in November of 2026. So you just might want to make a note about that date before we go into what I'm going to show you here. So now what I'm going to do is work through a payment stream, much like what I talked about in the video, which would be contracting now with regular monthly payments and then setting an irregular payment or an additional payment to be due at the time of the tax refund next year. So in order to do that, I'm going to show you the simplest form, which is monthly. Now, if you want to do this for bi-weeklies or even weeklies, you can do it. I've got a special calculation tool. The problem then you get into is knowing exactly when, to have that come due on the bi-weekly intervals. But again, I've created a tool to help do that. Well, right now, let's just look at the idea of doing monthly payments starting in, and I'm doing this deal with no down payment just to keep it simple. So we're financing the selling price of $15,000. Now, if we did 12 payments starting in March, then we would be March through February, right? So we do 12 payments of $450 monthly starting on March 3rd. Now I'm going to add another payment schedule, and then next March, I'm going to set one payment in the amount of an example, just to keep it even math here. I'm going to do $1,450 for that payment that comes due in March of 2023. Okay, so I'm going to do monthly on that schedule. I'm going to change this to 2023, and I'm going to pick March 3rd. So now I've got a tax refund payment scheduled for season number 1 on this contract, which will be March of 2023. Now, one quick thought on that. I definitely recommend that if you're going to be doing special payment streams, past experience says that if you will schedule those to be all due at the same time. Maybe you pick the 3rd week in March or 2nd week in March, whatever you choose based on your experience with tax refunds. And then the reason for setting them all at the same time is that way you can send reminders and send notices to all those customers at the same time and work them on the same kind of schedule and be able to hold them accountable to those payments that they promise. And you just have to remind them. You have to remind them again and again that they promised to, and even get them to sign off on it if you need to say, I remember now that I do have a payment coming due, in a few months in March of 2023 or whatever. So now, again, one payment of $1,450 for that time period. And then I'm going to just go again to monthly payments. And I'm going to say, let's show you a quick example. I could drop this. I guess for the first time I do it, I'm going to keep the payments the same. I'm going to do payments. In this case, will be starting in April. So I'm going to do 11 payments of $450. I'm going to keep it back to $450. What I was going to show you is you could drop the payments. It's really just limited by whatever you want to negotiate with the customer. I could tell the customer, if you make your payment in March of 2023, we drop your payment to $400 thereafter. Okay, so I could put that in the schedule. But since we're trying to look at that that initial maturity date of November, I'm going to keep the payments the same and just look at if we did $450 monthly then, and starting again that would be in April of 2023. So I'm going to go to April 3rd of 2023. I'm going to do 11 payments for April through March. Do I have that right? Yeah, it's actually be April through February. So that would be 11 months. And now we're going to add another schedule for the tax refund season of 2024. So I'm going to add another schedule. I'm going to go one payment of $1,450 monthly. And again, we're dropping to 2024. This sounds, I said in the prior video, this sounds a little too creative for some of you. You're going to want to verify that it's legal in your area. And I always say, if it's legal, it'll fit on your contract, your software can do it, it's good for you and it's good for your consumer, then why wouldn't we do it? This is a great way to make more sense and keep from having to run the customer's payment up really high in order to get to a reasonable term. And with the high cost of cars, terms and prices are high, so we'd like to shorten that up. And this is one way we can do that. So again, I'm in April of 2024. I'm gonna set that for April 3rd in the same way that I did right there. And now I've got to set the final payment. I'm going to continue with this last payment stream number 5. I'm going to hit a 0 right here. I think I could also leave it blank in IDMS. I'm going to hit a 0. I'm going to do $450 a month. Resuming on, that would be April 3rd. Give me a minute, I've done something wrong. So 11, this payment should be March of 2023. I'm going to back that up. March 3rd of 2024. Yeah, so sorry, working with too many different dates here. So now that one's March, and now we're resuming with our monthly payments in April of 2024. And so now I can simply hit apply and calculate that. And now you can see that I've shaved, what is that, 8 months off of this contract by setting those extra payments. So let's recap. In this particular case is why I recommend 6 payment streams for IDMS, and hopefully you can do the same thing with the other providers. And why 6 is because we need our initial payment stream to get started making regular payments. Then we need a next stream to be able to do the first tax refund payment. We used to always do these with just one tax refund payment, and so it didn't need to work like this. You didn't need this many streams. But now if we do one stream for the first tax refund payment, then we have another stream to go back to our regular payments. Stream number 4 is the tax refund payment for 2024. And then we just hit 0 to let it calculate how many remaining payments if we stay at the $450 a month. And again, that has us maturing at 3/3 of 2026. So I would urge you to go in and experiment with some of those, look at some amortizations. One thing we could have looked at, and I guess we can do it in reverse and let you see. Currently, the finance charge on this deal for this customer is about $7,000. And again, we've got a much shorter note. If we were to drop that all back, if I go back and delete these payment streams, and I go back to just a regular $450 a month, then we can see that we would have probably a little more finance charge income. And by the way, I don't think I said in the other video, for those of you that are going to be new to this type of loan structure, these are not the same as deferred down payments. Deferred down payments, we are required to have them due. I think it's on or before the date of the second installment. But this is not a deferred down payment. This is an irregular payment stream. It's just a kind of an unconventional payment stream. And so it does, like any other payment, it's interest bearing. It just happens to be the way we've agreed to be repaid. So again, I'm gonna make that a 0. I'm gonna do $450 a month and start them on 3/3. And when I hit apply, it's gonna show me that I've got about $1,400 more finance charge. So this is the decision you have to make as a dealer. Do I want to make that other $1,400 in finance charge and risk having that contract run another 8 months? It's your choice. It just that, no, in this case, what we've managed to do is shorten the term, and we're doing that with the age of the vehicle, kind of the age and the condition of the collateral in mind, and we're trying to keep the contract length relatively short. I'm of the school that if we're financing the poor credit consumers, I'd like to get paid as quickly as possible. So you may have a different approach. You might like that finance income and have it run longer. But for those of you who want to sort of accelerate the note in a way, or to shorten the term, this is an excellent way to do that. So again, I think you can also do this in AMS, AFS, and Wayne Reeves. And if there are others, please let me know, and we'll add that when this goes out on YouTube. We'll make sure to include in the comments any other providers that offer this solution. But here's what it would look like in IDMS, and we hope that helps you to keep the term shorter and have more success with your customers. Thanks.